Welcome to another episode of the IDP Lounge. I'm your host, Joey the Tooth IDP, here with my co-host, Hollywood Titan. Our other co-host, Nate Cheat, he's off to the Big E Fair tonight, so he won't be with us. Tonight is going to be a special Devy episode. We got the boys from the Devy Royale here. To my, I guess it's my right on screen. We got Christian at C. Williams NFL. Below me in the corner, we have Jeff at whom J Bell tolls. I apologize. And down at the other corner is Kevin at Du Bois 22. What's going on, guys?
Saturday, man. It's our day. So
it is.
Watching some college football and had some exciting games today. So I'm kind of keeping one eye on the Florida-Kentucky game right now as that game's nearing its end. So
yeah, and then we get another big one starting soon with Auburn LSU, right? Starting right now.
That'd be nice. So, yeah, just trying to bounce around, trying to watch as much as can. Had a big upset today, which is always fun, with Stanford knocking off Oregon. So that was exciting. And, Cincinnati taking a step forward and potentially making the first Group of 5 playoff bid. So,
it's cool.
a fun day. So my Buckeyes laid it on Rutgers. And so there were some whispers about what would happen if Rutgers were to beat Ohio State. And certainly we answered those whispers. And, I had some people that I saw last night say send us a tweet, and so it was fun to get that an easy game that you don't have to worry about.
It took Jeff 6 minutes to talk about Ohio State. Not even 6 minutes. Sorry, we started late. It was 2 minutes to talk about Ohio State. That's great.
Well, Kevin, congratulations to your Wolverines today. So big win for them too. So good to see.
How about that Georgia defense, man? Shutting out Arkansas.
Best team in the nation.
Yeah. Like Arkansas has been on fire all year, and all of a sudden they go and see Georgia, and Georgia says, "No, it's not happening. Sorry."
It seems like we're headed for a collision course between them and Alabama in the SEC championship game, and then probably in the national championship game too.
Right, I would not be surprised. Alabama's so complete, though; it's kind of sickening.
It is. I think they're going to struggle against that Georgia defense, though. I mean, I also thought Arkansas would move the ball, though, so I'm just guessing out here. So
yeah, that's what we're all doing. We're all doing our best. It's all hypothesis, educated guess. But yeah, no, that Georgia defense is good. They look like they've been they're a legitimate top 2 team. Alabama as well. Any surprises for you guys so far this year? I mean, Arkansas was mine, honestly, for teams, but anybody else?
I mean, how bad the Buckeyes have looked at times, how bad Clemson's looked is certainly the biggest surprise.
Yeah.
That one takes the cake, I'm sure. How bad Oklahoma's looked, but still survived every single week. It's all kind of, and just the division between Georgia and Alabama and the rest of college football.
Right.
I think it's fair to be surprised with how defensively driven college football has been this year, because it seemed like every single year has been offensive escalation and scores getting higher and higher. And this year it's just the exact opposite. So that took me off guard.
Yeah, I would say my surprise team this year is how bad Indiana has been since that Iowa game. 2-2, about to be 2-3 after tonight. I just expected a lot more from that team. They had a lot of returning pieces. Now they had a lot of question marks, but I thought they would answer them a little bit better, and they just have not been very good at all. So I think that's when people were looking at like preseason polls and stuff like that, Indiana looked like a tough game on everyone's schedule, and now it's kind of like the cakewalk of the week, which I thought that was pretty shocking.
Yeah, another defense, though, there too is Iowa. Iowa's got a pretty stellar defense themselves. That defense is tough.
Their offense looked pretty spectacular on Friday, too.
Yeah. Yeah. What about for players-wise? What do you guys think about any surprise players? Anybody's like Kenneth Walker, honestly. He was pretty good at Wake Forest, but he's been stellar with Michigan State. Like, what is he at? Before today, he was averaging like 8.65 yards per carry. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, leading the nation in rushing. It seems like the transfers have made a big impact. I told these guys before we came on that Wandel Robinson from Kentucky is a guy that I feel like I was probably kind of wrong on this summer. I didn't really see him as being an NFL player, but you see him now playing in the SEC and playing in SEC games, and he being a focal point that defenses are focusing on. That took me off guard, and so that'll be interesting to see how he can project.
Yeah, I think Jahan Dotson, he's kind of popped out. I liked him, but obviously Mel Kiper likes him more than I do. But he had him at his numbers, and he seems like he scored a touchdown tonight. Like Jahan Dotson is someone that we could see really kind of climb up the draft boards that we didn't think about, and a senior. So we talk about, he didn't come out, those type of things. So that'll be interesting to see where he gets drafted.
Yeah, I was a big fan of Jahan Dotson. I watched the Ohio State game last year, actually, when he just shredded freaking Sean Wade. He made him look foolish last year. And it's just kind of, he's not a big body guy, but he's always open. He creates separation, and if you do kick return yards, I mean, he's an excellent return man as well. So I think he could have some pretty decent draft capital if he can keep it going throughout the season.
I wouldn't be shocked to see him drafted night one.
Yeah.
Honestly, with just how he's played and the type of receiver that he is, but it'll come down to measurables. But we know that Penn State, it doesn't matter who you are, you're running like a 4.2 no matter what. So that's the
whether
Penn
you
State
actually
game.
did or not.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think one of the more impressive things with Dotson is he's also doing it with Clifford as his quarterback. I mean, he's actually looked pretty decent this year, but last year he didn't look that great. I mean, I don't know. I think with adequate QB play, he's been pretty solid. I just think if he had a good QB.
Yeah, it'd be nice. It's too bad they didn't, keep the one good quarterback that they had, and they just stuck with Clifford. As we watch the one good quarterback that they had play right now, they messed up. They messed up.
It's the wrong
guy. Pretty interesting, by the way, if you guys have it on or not. So, whether or not Florida can tie this game up here, but we've got a big game next week with Penn State taking on Iowa next week. So circle the calendar for that one, and what Dotson can do against that defense, because that defense certainly, I kind of expect a little bit of upset city last night, and that wasn't there at all. And so it kind of seemed like it was headed towards a closer game until that Demas injury and the pursuing fumble, and then they really just fell apart when that happened.
Yeah, it was kind of a crumble after that.
Can we talk about Dan Mullen being a pain in the ass and not playing Anthony Richardson? Because he needs to play Anthony Richardson. I don't understand why he's not doing that. If they lose tonight, that's on their ass. Because Anthony Richardson's the best athlete in college, one of the best athletes in college football. And he's been on the field a couple plays tonight, obviously, not a ton. And Emory Jones is not it, Dan Mullen. But he's not. Dan Mullen is so just overconfident, and he's just a pain in the ass, and it costs Florida. He thinks he's better than he is as a coach.
Yeah. Now Richardson's been just ridiculous, like both running and throwing the ball. What's his average yards per attempt, or his average yards per reception? It's huge. A couple of games he had over 100 rushing yards, and it was like 300 passing yards on it was limited attempts. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I actually picked him up after that game in a Devy league I'm in with Hollywood, a C2C league, and I was like, all right, things are looking, he's trending up, and then all of a sudden the SEC game started, and they're like, all right, they're going to push him right back to the bench. I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding me.
With him too, I mean, freshmen aren't allowed to play in college football, is what I've been told. So
right.
I think that might be it. They're not allowed to play. So
yeah, if you're no matter how good you are, you just need to sit on the bench for a little bit. We're going to make sure we let our seniors play. They've earned it.
Well, hey, some people had Emory Jones in their top 5 quarterbacks in 2022.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Florida just scored, so this is going to get really interesting because now they left some time on the clock. So, but yeah, Emory Jones is indeed not it.
No,
I don't think he's draftable.
Oh, he's down. His knee was down.
Oh,
he did not score.
To see it.
But PFF, they said that Emory Jones is going to be a top 10 quarterback. So remember that. Just actually a first top 10 pick selection. That's what they said.
Really?
So did Quincy Avery, who worked with him over the summer, who basically tore down Justin Fields to hype up Trey Lance. So I find that interesting that he thought that Emory Jones was going to take a jump.
I'm cool with the Trey Lance love, though. I'll jump
Me
on
too.
Trey Lance.
Yeah, I was all about it, too. I listened to all the interviews. I mean, he said good things about Trey Lance. So.
I'm a big fan of Trey Lance. I'm a 49ers guy, so I got a lot of high hopes there. Fingers crossed. In general, though, the rookie QB class has been kind of spotty this year, huh? But like Wilson, Davis Mills, he actually ran a great 2-minute offense.
Thursday night, Lawrence played better than.
Yeah, he did. He looks a little better.
Yeah.
He seems like he's getting a little more confidence. I don't know. He almost seemed nervous his first few games. It was kind of but, he just gets set in for recipe for destruction going against that Browns defense, and the offensive line just caved horribly. When he gets sacked 9 times, poor freaking guy. And Zach Wilson's still in the
so let's see how it goes.
What was that?
Starting again tomorrow, so let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm hoping a little better. I hope they give him a little more protection. Jeez.
And Trey Flowers is out, so
Yeah.
Not that I have Trey Flowers in an IDP league, so I kind of want him to play, but like I'm cool if Justin Fields goes off tomorrow.
I wrote an IDP sleeper article, and I threw Charles Harris in there just because he's on the Lions defensive line going against the freaking Bears offensive line. I was like, Flowers is out, so throw Harris in. He's got a sack in consecutive games. It's a decent sleeper.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I will say though, I think Joe Woods dialed up like the perfect defense to face Justin Fields too.
Yeah.
Which going into that game I did not expect, because the Browns defense was suspect and very, very bad the first couple of weeks. So
surprisingly, it's been their pass defense that has been just shoddy. They've given up like the 6th worst pass defense in the league. Like, I figured with the corners they have and drafting what's his name from Northwestern,
Newsom.
Newsom, thank you. I figured they'd be a little more stout than they are, but
it's scheme related too. They just sit back in soft zones, which is what I thought they'd do against Justin Fields, and instead they just brought the house every freaking play and manned up, and it confused the hell out of that offensive
7
line.
sacks for Clowney and Garrett combined.
Yeah, if Clowney gets a sack this weekend, he ties his total for the last 2 years. So, combined.
Yeah, it just must be nice playing. And you would think when he played with J.J. Watt, he would have had a few more, but no.
Yeah.
No. I was going to use the excuse maybe playing across from a stud, but he played across from J.J. Watt for the first few years of his career, so.
Yeah, he's looking good, though. I mean, he's better in run defense, I think.
Yeah.
So it's exciting to be a Browns fan. I'll say that.
It is. Yeah, the Browns look good. I'm happy for Browns fans. I have no ill will towards the Browns. Packers fans, none of you are Packers fans, right?
No.
That's Kyle.
Last week's
Kyle's
game broke
not here,
my heart.
so Kyle's out.
Last week's game broke my heart for the 49ers. I mean, they score with 37 seconds left. Packers have no timeouts, and like you said, just like who actually still plays prevent defense? It doesn't prevent shit.
Yeah,
it's
37 seconds. Oh my
you
God,
literally have
heartbreaker.
Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, only 2 people you have to worry about on that offense, and you allow Devontae Adams to get 2 20-plus yard receptions within 37 seconds, both not even close to being covered. It's like, why? Just why? Just drop back everybody into coverage, rush 3, and just get everything underneath. Like, what does it actually a prevent defense do? Absolutely nothing. It drove me absolutely insane. But whatever.
I've been watching my team play prevent versus Aaron Rodgers for the last 15 years because I'm a Cowboy fan, so they lose every time in the playoffs at the end. Yes, you can't leave Aaron Rodgers that much time.
No, not at all. Not at all.
That's kind of been your defensive scheme, though, for the Cowboys, Kevin, just playing prevent defense.
Jeff, I really don't need your shit tonight. I don't. At a certain point, I don't need to hear it.
Shout out Michigan, though.
Yeah, Michigan's 4-0 or whatever, so 5-0. Michigan's 5-0, and their over/under was 7.5. So all y'all can kiss my ass because we're gonna hit the over on that. Yeah. We're gonna hit the over on that.
Well, cross your fingers. I mean, there's still plenty of season left. You never know.
Nah, we'll hit the over. But Harbaugh,
you know what, Kevin? Thank you for the Joe Milton cast off. Appreciate it. Take him back anytime you want him.
Yeah, you can have him.
You're talking to 2 guys here that, Kevin and Christian are pretty upset with your team and not playing Harrison Bailey. So, I think they probably can commiserate on you playing Joe Milton. So,
yeah.
I really don't know what the deal is with Bailey. Apparently, he's 3rd with this regime, and he was 3rd with Pruitt's regime. Milton has just been I mean, he was garbage the first couple games. I mean, straight garbage. I mean, how the hell do you miss wide open receivers like he did? I mean, it's one thing to miss them, but it's another level when you miss them like he did, 10 yards past. I mean, Hooker has. Whew, if we hadn't had Hooker, I mean, it would have been awful.
Poor Tennessee being in the SEC too. I mean, they haven't really been good for a while. They just
Really, Joey? Really?
I know.
First it's the hair. Now you're gonna bag.
The hair wasn't an attack. That was me saying I know it's gonna hapen soon, so I'm just gonna do it when I can.
Yeah.
Trust me, I've seen my father.
I hope you lose all your hair, bro.
I'm just gonna keep this right here. That's it. Just for you. Just for you.
I wish you would.
So this class coming out next year, it's for the quarterback class. It's not really the strongest, and it's been mostly a lot of Spencer Rattler talk, but he hasn't really looked great this season. And a lot of the top QBs in this league in this season haven't looked great. Like DJ hasn't looked good. Rattler hasn't looked good. Is Rattler still your guys? I mean, first off, was he your guys QB1 going in the year? And is he still, or is somebody unseated him?
I mean, I had him as QB1 for a period because I kind of expected Oklahoma to take off. And from a Devy standpoint, I thought the value would be there. The way that this has gone, I think we're probably all three consensus now on sitting on Sam Howell as our QB1. I don't know. Kevin was really there with Matt Corral, but that was a tough day today. So I don't know if he's swinging a little bit or not.
Alabama.
But,
I think. I thought I said that when I looked at the box score. I watched a little bit of the Bama Ole Miss game, but had to watch other things with the girlfriend. But I think he had a pretty decent day. I just think that nothing was there, and he was getting pressured a lot, and he made some good decisions. But he's still not QB1. I'm still on Sam Howell personally. Sam Howell has made some questionable decisions this year. I watched a lot of that game today. And he's got that I need to hold the ball because I don't trust any of my weapons. And also I have a terrible offensive line type of mindset. A lot of that game looked like the Bears game on Sunday, which is concerning because you didn't really see that a ton before. Like Howell's always looking for big chunk plays now because I think that's all that UNC can really get.
Right.
But I think with what he's put on film the last, few years, 3 years, I think is the level of production that we've gotten from him. I think he's becoming like the forgotten toy, like kind of like Toy Story 3 or whatever, whichever one they forget about the toys. And Malik Willis and Matt Corral look like the shiny new things. And I think it'll come full circle come March. I think Howell will be sitting mostly at 1 Corrals look good, and I don't think Malik Willis should be there. But for fantasy purposes, if he gets drafted really highly, I think that should be the fantasy QB1 just because of his legs.
Yeah. Is anybody worried about Willis at all, considering that he couldn't win the job in Auburn at all? But the year he left, he was playing in the team game, and he couldn't even make first string behind Bo Nix.
Yeah.
So the stories around that were there were a lot of immaturity things and a lot of he just didn't handle the situation well at all. And it sounds like from everything that you hear that he's put those behind him. He's old, so he's old for a prospect, and he's been around and he's probably learned a lot from that experience. And so that's not something that I think about too much, just because it's. I mean, when you got a 22, 23-year-old prospect and you're talking about when he was 18 years old, I think that's it's different lifetime ago.
Yep.
You'd like to think.
Allow for growth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when going back to Howell, I think people forget everything he lost on his team over this past year. Diami Brown, was it Newsome, Daz Newsome? He's with the Bears now. Javonte Williams, Michael Carter. It's like he lost a lot of offensive weapons, and like you said, he looks like a guy who's just doesn't trust what he has.
Yeah.
So he looked pretty decent today.
He looked okay.
For the most part.
he looked really good to start, and then it seemed like Duke started to actually get into the backfield a bit, which, the comp is going to be Baker Mayfield. Like, I know people throw around some crazy comps, but then they'll circle back and they'll say, well, if this guy hits at the highest level, it's probably Baker Mayfield. And I think that's a good thing, especially with what we've seen from Baker this year, what we saw from him in his rookie year. Like, if you're getting compared to that level of quarterback, I think that's good. And it goes down to, like, even his throwing style. And he kind of even looks like Baker. It's pretty strange, but I don't know. I don't know if NFL teams are going to like him as much. He runs a fake offense, like people like to say. It's play action, it's RPO, it's not real, and so it's going to be a tough eval, I think. And I think his like workouts and his interviews are going to be incredibly important.
Yeah. Hopefully the combine actually happens this year.
It should.
It should. I'm a Matt Corral guy. I'll be honest. I like him, but I do like Hal. Like, I think it's Hal, and then it's Corral up there. But I think this class is not like. It's okay. Like, I do think that there's some question marks at the top. We've already kind of talked about that. I do think Rattler is terrible right now, and I don't know what's going on with Rattler. He looked bad again today. It's just not there. Like, he's not playing like a QB1. Someone was in one of our chats we were talking about. He's like, well, I think you just have high expectations. Well, no shit. He's a QB1 of the class. Like, you're supposed to have high expectations for guys like that. Like, I mean, if he's not performing to that level, like, if I wanted to watch Rattler play, I'd just watch, Kentucky, or I'll watch one of these other places play where these quarterbacks should be average. Like, I think he should have been playing as QB1. He's not there right now, and I think that he's taken one of the biggest hits to his Devy asset and value too. Like, you're not moving him. Like, even in C2C, he hasn't been good this year. So, like, as just a Devy overall, I think that's like kind of the biggest regret you might have drafting him. I mean, he was going ahead of all these guys. Bryce Young. I mean, I saw Bryce Young he dropped to like the 110 in the league I was in. And now you're looking at Bryce Young as maybe being QB1 of all of college football right now.
Yep.
So I think that's another thing about Devy is the value shifts so dramatically. You have to be on the front end of it. Like, if you have Slovis on your team right now, you hate life because you drafted him in like either the first round last year or this year. I saw guys taking him in the second round because they were getting bad advice, and now that's a fallen asset. So I think that like. Devy cannot be for everybody sometimes because you have to stay up on it and stuff. And I think that's why people kind of get like kind of weirded out about it. But you have to be in Devy if you want to be. I truly think if you want to be a really good dynasty manager, understanding values and changes and shifts, I think Devy is a good thing to be in.
Yeah, I just started doing Devy. Was it 2 years ago? And I've just been trying to cover college football as much as I possibly can, man. Like, Saturdays, I work every Saturday, but it's kind of nice because I'm right in front of a computer all day. So it's kind of like, just look around, make sure nobody's looking. Just hit the games and just watch as much as I can. But yeah, honestly, I enjoy it so much more than actual regular football, just NFL football. I love NFL football, but I don't know. There's something about Devy and C2C is just, it's fun as hell.
Right.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if you're really invested in it, there's a level of advantage that you can get on your league mates in Devy and C2C. So, and it helps you in all of your dynasty leagues. That's the thing. Like Kevin mentioned, like if you're in dynasty, you should at least try a Devy because it's gonna, for example, 2023 picks. I know like people are saying, well, 2022 is still more valuable. Yes, but like, did you see Zach Evans today going against Bijan? Like, there's that advantage. Now, most dynasty managers know that because they follow other Devy guys and stuff like that. But I think it's very, very advantageous.
Oh yeah, 100%. And just learning, just like those two watching that game today, it's like, oh shit, yeah, let me stockpile some 23 picks, definitely.
Yeah,
and I've been doing that too, and it's looking pretty good right now. It's nice. I'm enjoying that quite a bit. But me and Hollywood are in a C2C league right now. We did a startup draft last year, and then what we're doing is we don't have an actual NFL team. Anybody who graduates from your roster, from your Devy roster, you just hold on, and then after 4 years, if you play, that's your NFL roster, is the people that you've drafted if they've been drafted. So that's the NFL roster you're stuck with. So if you drafted well in your startup and you draft well in all your drafts, then fingers crossed. So right now, me and Hollywood are actually playing each other right now.
Yeah. And it's close too, man. It's close.
Who's winning?
Last I checked, Hollywood was, but I got Kenneth Walker playing right now.
Damn right I'm winning. So we have a question. We have a question.
Oh, we do. Who do we got? Oh, not a question. Oh, we appreciate that. Devy Studs and IDP Studs coming together. Now, is that based off of our beauty and our looks, or?
It's all the shininess.
Could be.
All right.
All right. So, do you guys, all three of you, play in IDP leagues too, like Devy IDP?
Do not play Devy IDP. I am in one IDP league. I'm in Fantasy and Frames. They're charity league. So I'm in that, but that's the only IDP that I'm doing.
All right.
I'm also not in Devy IDP. I got invited to do one this year. I said I can't do that yet.
Not ready for it.
No, I'm big into the NFL draft, and so I know like players in the upcoming class. But for me to start looking at like sophomores and freshmen and stuff, like I'm not there yet. I don't have that kind of time.
I know.
I don't want to throw my money away either. So I'd like to have a chance.
Yeah, this league we're doing free, so
Start
off with a free league and then go from there.
This one was actually a C2C Devy, which just too much for even me, and I'm like as degenerate as they come. So
yeah, I've come to learn this year that I need to scale it back quite a bit. I decided to join a couple of leagues, and I think I've eclipsed with best balls. I'm at like 45 leagues. I'm like, that's just ridiculous. This is dumb. I'm trying to watch them all, and I'm going through sleeper and whatnot. And I'm like, holy shit, I can't keep on top of all this. Will,
gentlemen,
what's up, man?
What's going on? What's going on,
buddy?
Man? It's been a little bloodbath in these college football streets, but we're making it up. We're making it up late night, so we're here. I like to. You can't celebrate too early, and you can't get down too late. So until that last game goes final, I'm not doing too bad. Anyway, how's my guy Heisman Martinez doing so far? I think he's doing pretty well. I think my guy in Nebraska, Heisman Martinez, is doing pretty well. I'm the only person. I'm leading this charge with him. I'm the only person leading the charge with Heisman Martinez. You guys are probably looking like, what the hell is this guy talking about? I'm talking about Adrian Martinez, okay, guys? Quarterback over here that finally wants to get it started in his senior year in Nebraska with Scott Frost saving his job. So, he's doing pretty well so far. So he was a good pickup on not only player props but also DFS. So, yeah. How's it going, guys? How's everybody doing out there, huh?
Welcome to the convo.
Yeah.
I guess he is doing well, huh? I didn't even look at that game, but holy crap. 3 rushing
touchdowns. How much money you have in the Hawaii
guys.
game? How much money you have in the Hawaii game right now, Will? You got to tell us. That late night Hawaii game.
Well, it all depends, right? So here's what we do. What I like to do is it all depends on how we start, right? How we're looking for the day. We start off with a little bit, and then there's always live betting. I'm known to live bet, so the second to last or last game could either get me out of a hole or even give me in a bigger hole. So we'll see how things go. But I'm looking at that game, and then listen, my guy Hainer. My guy Hayner's gonna have to do his thing tonight because I'm looking for Fresno State to do their thing, put up some points, and I have a rule. So week 0, Hawaii pretty much just didn't show up. They were still on the island. Everybody else was playing football. Thinking about football, they obviously wasn't. So if they're not playing after 10 p.m. or 11 p.m., I'm not even going to touch them. So tonight, it's right where I like them. It's right where I like them for them to go ahead and do their thing because they're still early in the day. They're still in luau. They're still thinking about Hawaii barbecue, enjoying the beach, doing everything else, surfing. But at night, it's game time. So they're playing at night. So I like them. Let's see. So far, sprinkled a little bit, but I might put in some more. Let's see where we're at by the end of the night.
I love the thought process. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Anybody put you in a hole today yet?
I was kind of upset about that Ole Miss and Alabama game. I thought that was just going to be like a game where maybe 100 points are put up, right? But it didn't. That wasn't a good game. Again, listen, guys, this is my third week in a row. I'm fading. I faded Oklahoma. That worked out pretty well. I had Kansas State plus 10.5. That worked out pretty good. See, Oklahoma wanted to play hero, try to score, be up by 13, but then listen. Just leave it up to their
Oklahoma
special
screwed
teams to
me
give up.
today. Oh my
Just
God,
leave it up to
those
them.
bastards.
Leave it up to them to give up a kickoff return, 93 yards of kickoff return, and we ended up covering. So we like that. Listen, we like that. We didn't win the game, but we were still, good teams win, great teams cover. So we were able to cover the spread, and we did our thing. So we're profitable. May have to have some of those funds rolled over to NFL Sunday tomorrow morning. So we'll see. We'll see. But so far, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far this Saturday.
So I don't have a TV next to me at the moment, but I just noticed that the Florida game's over. So they didn't tie it up, huh? That he was down and then
he was down.
couldn't
His
score?
knee was down on the 9-yard line, and they didn't score. I feel like it was the longest goal line stand that I've seen in a while, but they finally did not score.
My gosh.
Like Clemson
That's
is
a
in a
heartbreaker.
dogfight again too, so that's interesting. But
Hey,
Yeah,
real quick,
Clemson.
guys, what are your thoughts on UGA's defense? I mean, these guys are real. Is it me or those guys are just like shut down?
No, it's legit.
yes,
That
It's-
defense is just mean.
They
It's
are
the-
scary good. I mean, it's unreal. That front seven is just ungodly right now.
They might be the best defense since like early 2000s Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah,
would agree.
I mean, Arkansas didn't even look like a FBS school today. Really, that was one of the games that I was watching early on.
Right.
They looked like an FCS school, honestly. I mean, they just couldn't do anything. It was just like
Yeah.
if they did get any positive yardage, it was just like 2 or 3 at the most. But they weren't doing anything. And then towards the third or fourth quarter, I think at the fourth quarter, they pulled their starting quarterback, and I mean, they showed a highlight. This guy had like less than 70 yards. I was like,
Mhm.
ouch. So
Yeah.
it was pretty bad. Although I did take the under. I took the under in the first half and the game, but I lost on because I thought that plus 18.5 was going to be easy money for Arkansas. Obviously it wasn't, but we still cashed out. Guys. So we got a little pennies, to pick up a nice little small coffee with a glazed donut tomorrow morning. Nothing great, nothing big, but we're still going to be able to eat. We're still going to be able to eat before lunchtime, so that's always good.
Still free money.
That's it.
Free breakfast is always good.
That's it, guys.
Hey,
Man.
being a Connecticut guy, to see Connecticut actually about to tie it up with Vanderbilt, huh? How about that? That says a lot about Vanderbilt. That's all I can say.
$1 tickets, baby. That's all it costs to go to that game.
Joey,
Oh,
I'm
the
gonna tell you
best part
something.
is, The place I work for sponsors it, so here I am. I'm thinking we get free tickets for. I'm like, man, that's awesome. I'm getting free college football tickets, and then I go and I hear it's like $1 for a ticket. I'm like, that's great. That's
They
great.
can't
It's
give
like
it away.
literally, it's like $10 to have a great seat. It's like that's cool.
Does
Thanks for
that
the free
come-
beer, I guess.
Yeah, that should come with like a beer, a hot dog, and like some water to take home with you or something. Because
Yeah, it's
UConn
cool. They
is
actually give us
just atrocious.
they used to give us box seats in certain places, but I don't think Rensselaer even has them. It's like, all right, go to the game. I think I watched one good game from UConn, and it was years back. It was a triple overtime game against Pittsburgh, and UConn ended up actually winning because they went for 2 in triple overtime. It was fantastic. I couldn't believe it. I was hammered out of my mind. That was back in the day, but
Well, the good thing is though, Joey, basketball season is right around the corner, so UConn does pretty well during basketball season. It's
UConn
gonna
women,
save you guys,
UConn
but-
men's team is always freaking disappointing too.
Well,
They always get so many good recruits and they just can't come together. Just play like crap. I don't know if
Gino's
it's
been very
coaching or what. Ever
consistent.
since Calhoun left.
Gino has been very consistent. Gino,
Gino,
he's
yeah.
he's always keeping the women's basketball team. I think this year the men's basketball team is going to do well. But you know what? I'm from the Northeast originally as well, so I'm glad that I don't live there now because I mean I would have unlimited Rutgers and UConn games. Ooh, yippee! We don't want that. We do
It's
not
not
want
great.
that. So
It's
glad
not
I'm
great.
not living there now. Yeah, it's
No,
not- it's
UConn
not
doesn't even
looking
get televised, man. We get all the national games. They're
They're
like,
the,
yeah,
they're the
nobody wants to
Jacksonville
watch that.
Jaguars of the college football. They're the Jacksonville Jaguars, just all the blackouts that you could imagine. So.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, they're never televised. It's not bad. I don't mind it, to be honest with you. I just kind of look at the score every now and then. I'm like, see a game like tonight, it's like, oh crap, they're tied with an SEC team. No, oh, it's Vanderbilt.
Crown jewel of the program, Dan Orlovsky.
Oh man, Dan Orlovsky. I actually I had a friend who went to school with Dan Orlovsky. Went to high school with him. I was like, oh yeah, how was that? She's like, it's kind of a chooch. I was like, oh, he's all right though. He seems like a decent analyst, but he just doesn't know his depth of the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, if it was 101, 102 yards, he would have been good. But
Maybe.
He ran forever that game. I was just like, that's great. I mean, it's kind of sad that that's all that you're known for. But he tries to make it up. He tries to put in some good analysis there from time to time. You have to give it up to him. And then sometimes it's just like, what are you talking about exactly, Danny? But,
His rant about Matt Nagy this week was pretty good.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Oh, man, that's just another thing. I mean, what's going on in Chicago is just, oof, that's tough.
I hope they don't ruin Fields. I really hope they don't.
If you're looking at the history of what Nagy has done, and you look at what he did with Matt Trubisky, and pretty much did nothing to help him out or play to his strengths. Justin Fields is in trouble. So I think that after this year, man, they got to get rid of Nagy. Start from fresh. Get rid of the GM, the coach, and Justin Fields is good. He's not your typical Ohio State quarterback because, as we know, there's not a lot of you can't really look back at any quarterbacks that came out of Ohio State and like lighten it up in the NFL. But I think Justin Fields could change that. So hopefully he lands in a good. I think he's in a good organization. He's just on a bad team right now.
Yeah. He's a much better thrower than Trubisky ever will be.
Oh yeah. He was like a one-hit wonder. He had like one good season in at UNC. The year before, he couldn't even beat out the starter to become the starting quarterback, and then all of a sudden he gets picked in the top 5. So we all know, guys. You guys know better than me that if you make a wrong choice at quarterback, especially in the NFL, that takes you back at least 8 to 10 years. At least 8 to 10 years.
Yeah, look at the Niners. They didn't make a bad choice with Alex Smith, but to pick him over Aaron Rodgers, kind of like, well, that sucks. that was a tough few years. And poor Alex Smith. I mean, dude went to a terrible team. The 49ers were absolute trash back then. And he actually proved that he's not a bad quarterback. It took him, 8 years to actually get a decent team behind him, brought him to the playoffs, and then gets injured and gets shipped off to KC, which he then also brought to the playoffs.
Right.
But yeah, it was a tough few years watching what Aaron Rodgers did and then seeing what Alex Smith was doing. You're just like, that's a bad call.
Speaking of which, just real quick, I know we're talking about college, but do you guys think that Aaron Rodgers is going to finish off his career at Green Bay?
No, I don't think so.
Right. Everybody's like, we're not rolling. Yeah, I don't think so either.
Unless they get rid of the GM. If they dump the GM, I think Rodgers would be like, cool.
Yeah, I think no matter what they do, I think he's still out. I heard rumblings about him possibly going to Pittsburgh. I could see that happening, and I think that'd be good. I mean, they do got some weapons, especially at the running back position, Najee Harris, and you got at least 3 good receivers out there, and Juju.
Juju's gonna be a
Johnson,
free agent, but still.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, he signed a 1-year deal to come back with Pittsburgh, and he declined an offer from Baltimore, so I think he wanted to be there. But I think if you get a good quarterback back there, he'll be good.
Yeah. He'd be. I could see him signing again, but I mean that'd be good for Rodgers. But I mean their offensive line kind of sucks this year in Pittsburgh, so I don't know. Rodgers has been blessed the past few years with a great offensive line, so he just doesn't have any weapons because his GM will not draft a wide receiver. I don't understand that. Draft a freaking wide receiver for the guy. That's all he's been asking. Just give me some freaking weapons.
Oh, they did. Amari Rodgers. He's
top tier.
There are a few people that think that, and Amari Rodgers. He was okay as a kind of like a gadget type of player, and he could get open a little bit, but he's the least athletic dude that people are propping up for no reason. They
Yeah.
they obviously wanted Randall Cobb for a reason. So
Yeah, I was gonna say when you say that you're not gonna stay unless you go and get me Randall Cobb, that means that's saying a lot for the team. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they attack wide receiver in this draft coming up. There should be some decent talent coming out. Who would you guys like coming out from the wide receiver position this year, you think? I'm trying to think of even eligible guys. We hit on
Everybody,
Dotson. I like Dotson.
Traylon Burks, Garrett Wilson, Olave.
Olave, yeah.
You know,
I was surprised he didn't go last
included.
year. Olave.
I agree. So I think that
I think Olave, you know, Jeff, that's a good point. I think Olave played it smart. I think, you know, I mean, if you're looking at, I think he might be one of the top 3 receivers coming off the board after this year. So I think it was in his benefit not to come out last year. I mean, listen, anytime, I mean, it's a factory down there in Alabama. It's a factory down there in Alabama with receivers. So that's pretty much all you're pretty much competing with. But I think Olave is going to be in a good situation this year. He's going to be probably one of the top 3, or should be one of the top 3 receivers taken off the board in the draft next year.
No, he's got to compete with guys on his team first, man.
You talk about
Garrett
the guy
Wilson's
that
nasty.
improved his stock this year, Jameson Williams going down to Alabama and getting out of that Ohio State room. I think that's a guy that has dramatically improved his stock so far early this season. So he's kind of emerged as really the primary Alabama wide receiver in a lot of aspects. And so that's going to really help him when it comes to the draft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was gonna say Mechie has been, when we were talking about like surprises, Mechie has been kind of surprising in that in a negative way.
Yeah.
I think Jameson kind of just came in there and said, "Yeah, I'm that dude." And Mechie, I think someone put it best today. He's gonna be a good 2 or a 3, and that's probably draftable on day 2. But that the whole like first round in the top 15 picks that I was seeing all offseason, I don't think that'll really happen.
Yeah.
One name, Jalen Tolbert, still doing his thing. Kind of gotten quiet about him, but our buddy from Campus to Canton, Austin, tweeted out that this is the year of the group of 5 wide receiver. There's going to be quite a few guys that like Khalil Shakir, I think is his name, Shakir.
Yep. From Boise State.
Yeah, he's going to get some nice draft capital, and that boy can play. A lot of people are saying
that legit, man.
Yeah,
that dude is legit.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying
Pops guy. He's definitely legit. He's definitely legit receiver.
Yeah, they're saying that he's the best group of 5 receivers since Deontay Johnson, which is probably a good sign because Deontay's fared pretty well. So
yep, yeah, definitely.
We got to give a shout out to my guy Jalen Cropper too. Also, got to give Fresno State. You got to give a shout out to Jalen Cropper. But no, I think the G5 guys. Yeah, I think it's gonna be there, like you guys are mentioning. And yeah, Mechie is a good call. He was getting drafted way too high in startup drafts and stuff. And when Jameson got there, it kind of killed his stuff. But Drake London's interesting. I'd be interested to see what he's going to do. Like some people comparing him to Mike Evans. I get nervous about the separation skills. Like he does have the ability, but I also know what N'Keal Harry looks like. So like I do get nervous about both those comps.
Maybe meet in the middle. Go with a Kenny Galladay.
I don't know if that's what we want.
Yeah, no.
Guys, please.
That's not great.
Guys, let's just, Galladay is,
Oh, right, we got a Giants fan right there. So.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It's a little nerve hit. Kevin, I know you're a Cowboys fan. I know you're a Cowboys fan.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just,
it just hits a little bit when you guys talk about my New York Football Giants over there. But there's still time. There's still time. We're not out of it. We're not out of it mathematically, which is good, which I like to say. It's another word for just waiting on disappointment. So we'll see how we fare. We'll see how we fare. But Kenny Galladay could, it's just, I don't know.
It's Daniel Jones, Will. It's Daniel Jones. He's not good.
All right. First of all, Danny Dimes this year, he's one of the quarterbacks that has.
Can we stop calling him Danny Dimes though? Because he doesn't throw dimes. Like he doesn't. Like he tosses balls. Like
he's throwing.
So if you're looking at his entire body of work, you can call him Danny Dimes because even those interceptions are nice, right? So I'm looking at it on.
He's still hitting somebody.
Yeah, he's still hitting them. Actually, he's one of the quarterbacks this year that has not thrown an interception though yet. He is one of the few quarterbacks this year that has not thrown an interception. So
His pocket presence is still trash, though.
Oh gosh. All right.
It is.
Listen,
He's
this
played
year,
much better than I expected. I honestly,
he has, but
with his
I'm
offensive
ready to
line,
get
I
off him.
expected it.
To be honest with you, I'm ready to get off him after this year. So I've been looking at a lot of Malik Willis tape. He's actually doing his thing tonight, which is good. But I'm looking for anybody. So if you guys, obviously you guys know better than me this college game. If you guys could offer anybody up, so I could go ahead and stream on my YouTube TV and look at some of these games and see who I should go ahead and look at, because I think after this year we might have to cut ties with Danny Dimes and pull Trubisky and pretty much not pick up his option and head into the draft, which I'm going to be at. Listen, you can't beat that. Having the draft in Vegas, that's going to be phenomenal. So one of the good things is that we're going to pick early, so I could be present and then go ahead and hit the craps table or something right afterwards. So that should be fun.
Listen, the best part about Vegas isn't even the gambling; it's the people watching. There's some strange people in Las Vegas, man. I went there. My cousin ended up. She wanted to get married in Las Vegas, so she waited till I turned 21. So I'm literally like 8 days old of 21, and I go to Las Vegas, and I'm just like culture shock. Like, holy shit! Look at how weird all of these freaking people are. It's so many strange people, man. People in costumes, just hammered all over the place. I'm like, holy cow. And then you go into the casinos. Next thing you know, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning and you have no windows. And you're like, holy crap, what have I been doing? It's absolutely insane.
Those people that build a casino and pretty much do that work, they pretty much, they're smart. Because like you said, it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. You're like, oh, no, it's 11:30 at night. No, it's
pump them full of oxygen and get rid of all the windows.
You have been here for 9 hours, sir. So it is breakfast time right now. That steak dinner, we no longer are serving that because we're serving breakfast sandwiches.
It's now steak and eggs, sir.
Right, exactly. What games are you guys sweating tonight? Jeff, Kevin, what games are you guys sweating right now?
I feel like the big ones are done, man. So I'm a Buckeye fan, so that was taken care of. The afternoon window was pretty great. The Cincinnati Notre Dame game was the playoff shifting game. I feel like that was closest, most interesting. A couple of these upsets maybe popping off. The Oregon going down was kind of nice, but what we have left tonight, I'd like to see Clemson lose again because I just really enjoy seeing Clemson lose. But
yeah. Gosh, look at them.
No, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. No, you're good.
I was just gonna say, this Auburn LSU game looks to be pretty intriguing. Auburn's probably gonna get ousted here very quickly. I saw all the analysts on College Game Day picked LSU and the fans picked Auburn. I thought that was kind of interesting that they just rolled with the crappy ranked team at the very back of the rankings.
How was Auburn ranked? I just noticed they were ranked. I looked at the game right now, and they're 22nd. They are terrible. They're not a good team.
Kevin, to your point, after last week, going down to the wire to to Georgia State. Come on now. You gotta fall completely out of the top 25 when that happens. And Bo Nix, what is he like seventh year quarterback, seventh year senior or whatever? He got pulled and had to have Finley come in. So. Yeah, I don't know why they're ranked number 22. That's very generous. At the very, very best, they should be ranked 25th. So the fact that they're 22nd, I think that something's going on with the committee here. They're getting it wrong. So
man, they need to find somebody to cover Butte, huh?
Yeah, he's
4 for 114.
Legit. Yeah, Keishawn Butte is a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. So, all right, let me ask you guys, what do you think about Jake Haener? Does he have actual NFL value, or is he just a really, really good college quarterback? Or does he just put up good statistics?
I'm telling you, you won't find anybody that's tougher or got a bigger heart than him. I'll tell you that right now. That dude's a baller.
Hollywood, let me ask you, does that win games in the NFL?
Do what?
That's Daniel Jones.
Does that – oh, my gosh. These low blows. Let me put on an extra pair of pants over here to avoid these low blows. But listen, does having heart win games in the NFL?
It can.
It did for Brett Favre.
Taylor Heineke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're in Devy leagues, Jake Hayner's the guy you want right now.
Yeah.
He'll
No,
play with a broken damn leg. I'm telling you right now, that dude is.
I'm just
he's
wondering
the
if he
dude.
holds any bit of NFL value, or if he's just
I
a
don't
really
think
good
so.
college quarterback.
But Christian's a QB
He's a little,
hero.
yeah, he's a little undersized. But man, it's hard to knock him though. I mean, it really is.
He popped up on Dane Brugler's like draftable seniors list today, which I thought was kind of significant because Brugler is really, really good. One of my favorite draft analysts. We talked about him on the show on the Devy Royale last week, 2 weeks ago, I think, and I said he's intriguing to me because he's made some incredible throws. But if I had to pick like one of those smaller school quarterbacks, I think I'd go with Bailey Zapp. I just think that he's got a better deep ball and that might be more translatable. But Hayner, Gardner Minshew started, so Taylor Heineke, like Jeff mentioned,
right?
So he could hold some NFL value. It just might be like the same value as Kellen Mond or something, which isn't a ton.
Yeah. Well,
So
he's
listen,
killing it for me in my
horrible
Devy league right now. So
I'm a horrible quarterback evaluator. A couple years ago, I was all in on Will Grier, and we've seen that he's not even able to get on the field in the league. So I leave the quarterback talk to you guys. You guys are obviously the experts. I just sit in the back because obviously I have no clue who's going to turn out. I was all in on Will Grier a couple years ago, and then we ended up drafting Danny Dimes out of Duke, which they really don't even play football down there in that school. They're known for basketball, and here we are. We find ourselves in this situation.
Grier was intriguing though. Grier was one of those guys that, like, if he hits and you called it, you look really smart because he had some tools. The problem was, I don't think that the Panthers even wanted him when they drafted him, and then the regime left, and so he was it was similar to Josh Rosen, except not as high draft capital, so it hasn't been tracked as much. But I was actually living in North Carolina with the whole Will Grier experience, and those fans hated him. They just despised him. Yeah. I mean, to go from Cam Newton to a whole lot of nothing, and it was between Grier and Kyle Allen, and Kyle Allen was playing better. They were pretty upset down there. I felt kind of bad for them.
What was Grier? Was he a third-round pick?
Sounds right. Either that or back of the second. He was a day 2 guy.
Man, that's tough. I mean, it always sucks when you get a new regime coming in because they really give two shits about the other regime's draft capital. Like, it's not my guys. I'm gonna go get my guys. So it's kind of like if you don't show out, if you've not turned any heads, it's kind of like, all right, don't worry about it. You're out of here anyway. I'm gonna get my guys in here. It seems, and I think that's gonna happen to Daniel Jones. I don't think they're gonna get a new regime, but I think Daniel Jones is gonna go. I don't think he's really impressed enough. No offense, Will, but he really needs to. I mean, and also to his defense, he hasn't really had any weapons, honestly. This year they signed Galladay, and they've had Sterling Shepard. And I said this year Sterling Shepard's going to be their best receiver, and he was great until he just got injured. And Slayton's been okay, but I mean, honestly, he hasn't really had a true number one go-to receiver. It's been Evan Ingram, who was stone hands.
Yeah, I mean, so they're officially both out for tomorrow. So again, I'm all about this about the wagers, so I may have to fade them myself. So it's not looking good. Listen, as long as we don't finish slash in that division, and I'm not too happy that again, Kevin, I apologize, but I'm not happy that Dallas is doing so well. I was actually hoping for a tie on Monday night between them and the Eagles. Didn't happen. Didn't fit well. Everybody was like, "Oh, I want the Eagles or I want the Cowboys." When I was like, "Guys, I'm rooting for a tie. How about that? Let's enter week 4 1-1-1." But the Dallas is doing their thing, and the person that's least excited about that is me.
Well, hopefully the Niners can take down the Eagles this weekend, so that'll help both of you guys out a little bit.
Well, speaking of which, let me ask you, what are your thoughts on Jalen Hurts?
I always thought he was a good redraft player this year, and for Dynasty, I stayed away from him.
Yeah.
So that's how I went into Jalen. because I just don't trust that Eagles team has a lot of holes. Defensive line, defensively, they're really bad. I think offensive line's getting older. I don't know if they have a clear picture, because I think that management group thinks that they're always contenders and that they can win a Super Bowl every year. And I just think that roster has a 2 or 3 year turnover that it needs to do, but I don't think they want to do it. So until they get a new regime out of there, but how much do they really trust Jalen Hurts for that? I think the Deshaun Watson stuff was real. I really do.
Yeah.
I do think that they were, who knows if that comes back. So I think that for me, Hurts was always a guy that I was okay with taking in redraft, but for dynasty and stuff, I feel like that's a tight window. He might get a shot somewhere else, but you're really hoping. And if he, we'll see how that goes. But I've always kind of been out on Hurts. We saw him play in college. He was okay. But his accuracy is a real thing. That's a real thing, and he struggles with it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Faith. Good evening. We're doing fine, Faith. We're doing fine. The Yankees are doing fine. Don't you worry. I didn't hear from you this past weekend when we swept you guys out there. So I'm glad to have you back, Faith. I know you probably had internet issues, but here you are again with the Yankees. We're gonna do well. We're gonna get in the wild card, and we just got to get into the dance to do some things. So good evening to you as well. Hope your Saturday is turning out as well as can be. So yeah. Thanks for asking, Faith. They're doing well, and I'm doing even better. Thank you.
Well, you are so incredibly kind the way you do that.
It's just, guys,
kill
listen.
them softly, bro. Kill them softly.
Kill them with kindness. Kill them with kindness. That's what I was taught. But listen, let me tell you guys. I grew up in New York City, so it's just one of those things that I understand the pressure that all those teams are under, right? And it's looking bad. I mean, not only with the Yankees right now, they're fighting for a wild card spot, but also in football, right? And in basketball. I mean, it's either like championship or bust every single year. So I understand, and you gotta live up to it. And if you don't, it's just like, hey, we need a clean house. And it feels like it's like every single year. But I feel good about my boys. As long as we're able to dance and get into the playoffs, we'll be okay. We'll be all right. But thank you, Faith. I appreciate it. Good to hear from you as well this Saturday evening. Hope you're having a great weekend.
Let's see. So, how about you? What's going on with Adrian Martinez here?
Oh man, 49-7. So Heisman Martinez, 11 for 17, 202
He hasn't
yards.
done anything since he came in.
No. But
Not much.
but still putting up some good stats here. I mean, 1 touchdown passing, 3 rushing, 7 attempts for 48 yards rushing. I like that.
I'm more intrigued with Kenneth Walker getting 93 yards and 3 touchdowns. Dude's a freaking beast. So he's kind of intriguing to me too for going to the NFL, because he has not shown anything in the receiving game. I think he has 9 receptions over his entire college career. So how does he actually translate to the NFL? Is he going to be like a Nick Chubb, Damian Harris style runner who's just going to be a first 2 down guy, or is that going to affect his draft capital? You watch him run, and obviously he's one of the more talented runners in the FBS right now, but his receiving ability is probably going to drop him down to probably a day 2, 3rd, 4th round guy.
I think the thing with this class is that you've got a lot of guys like that. You've got Kevin Harris, you've got Zamir White. And so I think we've already seen that the NFL teams don't value that as highly, but the top 2 backs in the class, they have just marginal receiving skills anyway. Well, Isaiah Spiller's looked really, really good, but Breece Hall, I wouldn't call him a receiving back either. And so I don't think he'll be hurt as much. I think Kenneth Walker's probably a round 2, round 3 guy right now. I'm starting to study his games and find things that he's kind of a mixture of Javonte and Michael Carter. It's like if you put them together, that's the running back you get. And Javonte was a high 2nd round pick. So
yeah,
as long as he can show some pass blocking, that'd be good.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I just started looking at him a little more myself too, just because I kind of liked him last year at Wake Forest, but he still wasn't getting a full workload. And then I saw that he transferred. I was like, all right, that'll be kind of interesting to see. And granted, it was only Michigan State, and Michigan State hasn't really been too relevant in football in the past few years. But
Guys, real quick,
Like
is there a number?
extra-
Is there a number that I could call for internet abuse right now that I'm getting from Faith here? Faith, listen, again, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. I don't need the internet abuse. But thank you. We're doing just great. We're doing just dandy over here.
I feel like those are fake smiles, or I feel like in your heart it's actually just breaking as we
I'm
speak.
crying. You know that meme where like it has like the happy face and then behind like this guy's like just a complete wreck. That's me right now. That is me. that is me right now. I'll probably cry myself to sleep, but nonetheless, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. This is it's not looking good. So Spiller from Texas A&M. I mean, that guy right there. He's a good prospect. Do you think that he's a first rounder?
Nah, it's really hard to be a first round running back these days. You have to be like lights out, but
I don't think we see a first round running back this year.
No, at all.
No, I don't think either.
Hot takes, guys. Listen, let's.
October
maybe
2nd.
Okay.
Maybe one of the last picks, kind of like the Chiefs did with Clyde.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also don't really see an NFL team that is in dire need of a running back right now. Maybe the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they don't even like using theirs, so it doesn't even matter to them that much.
You guys are not on the Gaskin train?
I mean, he's all right, but
Gosh,
he's nothing special.
This is bad. You know, I asked that question just because I wanted some reinsurance on some of my draft picks this year, but Jeff he gave me the no with the bad face, and then Hollywood just jumped on top of it as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and just probably drop him after this stream. So thank you guys, I appreciate that. I'm gonna put him on the waiver wire. Probably nobody will pick him up, so I'll probably still end up with him. But I'm gonna try. Nothing. It doesn't hurt to try to get him off your team. We'll see how that goes.
Right. So real quick before we jump into something else, Kevin's got to go. Kevin, tell them what you're doing, where you're at, what you're working on, man. Let them know.
Yeah, sorry, I'm on the West Coast out here, so I still gotta get
brother.
I gotta get my kids to bed. My wife will kill me. No, you can find me at @theboys_22 as always, and just check out our Devy Royale podcast. I think we do a good job. Jeff, he does okay, but me and Christian really crush it, and so I just want to make sure that everybody takes a look out there and just let you know, if you like Devy, you like Camp as a Can, those type of things. I feel like we have one of the top ones out there. So I appreciate you guys having you on and just meeting you guys face to face. I see you on Twitter, but it's always a little different.
Yeah, man. And we appreciate all you guys coming on. It's nice to actually have you coming on. And one thing I want to say about the three of you guys, you're actually all legitimately actually good people. I never see Twitter's a shitstorm. It's an absolute shitstorm. Yes. And I very rarely see any of you guys involved in any of the giant shit mess. So
I'm too old for that shit.
Yeah.
Me too. Hey, real quick, Kevin, I got to give you mad props because that tweet that you sent out probably like a month or even over a month ago about Grammarly, I jumped on it. For writing, and I went before Grammarly. I was an awful writer, and I'm just bad. So so it's good that you suggested that, and I appreciate you, Kevin. I really do from the bottom of my heart, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem, man. No, I appreciate you guys, and as always, just we're all talking about football. That's all we try to do. Like I am not getting involved in anything else. I don't care about anything else. So
yes,
all right, guys. I'll see you guys later. You guys have a good rest of the show.
All right.
See you guys
later, man.
Talk to you.
Yeah. Twitter's just a whole shitstorm of crazy people.
But you know what's funny?
So you gotta be like me. You gotta give a whole bunch of I don't give a fucks to be on Twitter.
I just do a whole lot of mute. I'm like, you know what? I just don't need to hear that. I don't need to hear that.
What? You mute me, Joey? Really?
You? No, you fire up. There's no mute in Hollywood. You're like, I can tell when Hollywood's in a good mood, so I'm gonna get Hollywood going today.
No, I think fantasy
this
football
could be dangerous. I'm just saying.
The people that I've come across on Twitter from the fantasy Twitter has just been great. You know what I mean? Especially meeting a lot of people at the expo. It was great. So far, I'm having a great time. I tell people all the time as well. And luckily enough, or fortunately enough, I haven't had any bad encounters. But I don't even go back and forth with people in real life. So I'm definitely not going to do that in the app. But then again, it hasn't even come down to that. So I'm good. And if it does, I'll just not even entertain it at all. Give 0%. Entertainment to it. So
right,
there's been a good ride so far. So I love it.
Man,
it's good.
Yeah, it gets a little tough at times. People just get really attacking. It's like you just got to learn how like somebody's just going to come at you and just because it's not worth it. You're going to go with somebody and they're going to come at you with these just nothing's calculated. It's all just I want to piss somebody off, and you can completely prove them 100% wrong, and they still will not believe you. And it's just it's like all right, good talk.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep going and doing what I'm doing. But yeah, so Christian, you're big on the draft, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if you have any recommendations, because I've started doing a little more scouting personally. My biggest thing is I need to get myself somehow to get all 22 because I don't have that yet. But other than that, do you have any advice?
Sure. First thing, Caddy's Cut-Ups Patreon. It will give you all 22. It's like $1 a month, and you get tons of videos. I can send you a link, I think.
Yeah.
But I like to promote that. They're doing really, really good work there. They make cut-ups of all 22, so you don't have to watch like a 57-minute recording of a game and try to find your players. They'll highlight the players for you.
That's mint.
Yeah. So that's the first recommendation. Other thing, just find the things that NFL teams value. And I think that changes year to year. So like right now, I would say a mobile quarterback is more valuable than a statue quarterback. 10 years ago, that's not the case. And so you kind of incorporate that into your eval too. For example, I really like Carson Strong this year, but I'm realistic and I know that NFL teams might not like the fact that he can't really move around because of his knee injuries and his medicals might come back bad. And so kind of incorporating that, like, how would the NFL view this player? I think that's important. And with receivers, like before, it was find the big guys that you could throw the ball up to. And that was the type of receiver that the NFL wanted. And now it's the opposite. They want the small, fast guys. It's all about how you create separation.
Yeah.
And so with running backs, it's a little different because you've got certain teams that have certain schemes, and that's tough. So like when I say Spiller, I don't think that there will be a first-round running back. That's simply because if you run an outside zone scheme, you can put a lot of running backs in that scheme, and they can be effective. But I would say, just don't get too attached to one of your takes early on in your eval. I like to watch like 3 or 4 games before I like put my actual take down.
Yeah.
And I like to watch as many games as I can. It's just sometimes you can't get access to all of that. NFL teams can't always get access to every game either. Right. So, and realize that there's things that you're never going to be able to find out. For example, like Spencer Rattler's sucking right now. Is it because of like things that he's being told to do, or is it something mental and we aren't able to see into his head because we're not in the interviews, and those are probably the most important part of evaluation. So keeping those things in mind, have fun with it. I think that's the main thing. Like I rated Warren Jackson, the Colorado State wide receiver, as like a day 2 guy, round 3 guy that I'd take a flyer on. I think when I revamped the scale, he ended up being a 4th rounder. Guy goes undrafted, he can't stick to a team, and I learned from that. So just always trying to get better too.
Yep.
Nice. So real quick, speaking of Rattler, where do you see him going? Do you see him as a first round draft pick?
I think he's going back to school. I can't see him declaring, and if he does declare, I think he's a 2nd round pick right now. A team's going to get excited about him, but I think right now he hasn't put first round film on at all. So it sucks. He's toolsy. Teams are going to like that, but mentally, like I just don't think his decision making is first round caliber.
Right. So Jeff's got to go too. Wished he could stay on a little longer with us, but Jeff, tell them where you're at, what you're doing, all the good stuff you're working on, man.
Man, thank you so much for having me on. Those kids just get up early, so I got to get out of here.
Those darn kids, man.
I know. It's rough. I got a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 0-year-old, and they all come storming at 5:45 in the morning.
My youngest just turned 17 today, so I'm almost home free, bro.
Oh, wow. You are getting free. You get it, man.
She's 17. How old are you?
Do what?
How old are you?
That's none of your damn business.
All right.
Hollywood got an early start. Hollywood got an early start.
Hey, no shame in my game, bro.
Yeah. You're all
You
good,
see,
man.
that just makes me respect these guys more, Jeff and Kevin, because these guys have kids and still are knocking it out the park with like good content and good stuff, and they're consistent. So, me over here sitting with a family of one, not that busy. Only worrying about content. So these guys, that's great, man. That's good stuff. So yeah, Jeff, listen, great to be with see you, via the stream and meet you virtually so far, man. So it's good, man. We'll be hitting it up on the internet, man. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so you can find me Twitter for whom J Bell tolls. You can find me primarily content comes out Fantasy Pros. We do the Fantasy Pros primer, me, Christian, Kevin, and CJ Lang. We do the Devy primer that comes out on Fantasy Pros towards the end of every week to get you ready for your college football action. Again, Kevin mentioned Devy Royale Tuesdays at 9:30. I do another show Coming Off the Edge Tuesdays at 7. I've done some content for football guys and some content for betting pros too. So just kind of all over the place, but certainly always on Twitter far too much. But I enjoy it and I try to have fun there. And I'm just thankful and grateful that you guys had me on here tonight. And hope you guys have a great night.
You too, man.
Yeah,
we
man,
appreciate
you're
you coming
welcome back
on.
anytime, bud.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Take care.
All right, later.
Later.
Yeah, I'd like to revisit some of the college football towards the end of the college football season, see how everything ends up, because I feel like it's been a weird beginning to the season. I mean, especially the quarterback position kind of has blown my mind, honestly. Like I thought it was going to be completely different. Like DJ and Clemson, I don't even want to try to pronounce his name because I can't do it.
It's
so
hard.
DJU.
I apologize for it, but I'm just going to keep saying DJ and Clemson so everybody knows who I'm talking about. But I mean, he just hasn't looked good at all. Spencer Rattler, Sam Howell even at times hasn't looked great, but I kind of give him a pass considering his lack of weapons, and his line is terrible. But
Heisman Martinez, Joey, I'll tell you that much right now. Well, listen, I got to turn it over to the scouting guru over here, Christian. What do you think about my guy Heisman Martinez? Do you think he'll land on a team as a quarterback?
I wrote about him on our first Devy primer, and Kevin said, props to you for kind of having the balls to do that, because he's very, very inconsistent. And we saw a lot of that early on this year, but he's got tools and he's always had tools. And so you look at a guy like Felipe Franks for the Falcons, who stuck with bad film and just great arm talent. Adrian Martinez, if he puts it together up here, I think he's probably an NFL backup quarterback. But
Christian, I just love what you just did right there. That's good. You said with bad film. He had a bad college career. Okay.
Yep.
Franks was horrible. He was horrible.
He's been bad, man.
I mean, he was awful, but I like what you did there. That's good. Listen, as you were talking, I'm taking mental notes. I'm like, you know what? I could incorporate this in my daily, not only with football, just in my daily life. I like what you just did there. That's good. I apologize for interrupting you.
No, you're good. That's the thing. Like, I don't think he ever really got the development that he needed, and so. Again, going back to like, what would an NFL team think? Well, I think they see a guy who's mobile, who can change his arm angles a bit, who's got a decently strong arm, and they say, man, like, we can try him out on our practice squad, and if he doesn't work, like, he can go to the XFL, and that's fine, like, or the CFL, but I think some NFL team's going to give him a shot. I don't think he gets drafted right now, but I do think. He does have an extra year of eligibility because of COVID, so he might just go back and play again. Which might, I mean, Kenny Pickett just did that for Pittsburgh, and he's now. I saw today that people are talking him up as a freaking first round pick, which I think is absurd. But he's been good this year. So maybe Adrian does that, and he somehow gets drafted. But no, he's good for daily fantasy, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I think what might save him is the fact that he could do some things with his feet. I mean, Felipe Franks wasn't even a mobile quarterback, but Adrian can do some things with his feet. So I think that he may have he could find himself in the quarterback room and on one of these teams, just depending on what's going on or even as a backup, right? So, but if he has another year of eligibility, I think that that'll be good for him to go back and see what he could do, because I think that nobody's really scaring anybody in the Big Ten this year. Nobody's really scaring. It's pretty much wide open. It's pretty any team could take over. They're going to be 500 after this game tonight against Northwestern, so we'll see. But again, I'm running the rally for Heisman Martinez, and I'm all on board. But like you said, he's definitely a good DFS player, so I love it.
Yeah. I think it's probably C2C too. I mean, he's probably decent in any C2C leagues right now, just because he puts up numbers and that rushing floor. I mean, talked about Malik Willis earlier. The reason we like rushing quarterbacks in fantasy is because they're basically cheat codes with how current quarterback scoring is set up in all of fantasy. So
yeah,
it's fun.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't think, if you look at NFL, I don't think Lamar Jackson has thrown over like 260 yards a game, and he's the QB5.
Yeah.
QB4.
Yeah. I mean, those again, I'm in these wagering streets. So with that prop between the passing plus rushing yards for Lamar Jackson, that's pretty much money. Anything under 300, if you include okay, I see you there. Hollywood, a little brown back there on the shelf. I like that. But yeah, anything under 300 for Lamar Jackson in passing plus rushing is gonna hit. Speaking of Lamar, Bateman. What are our thoughts on Bateman coming back possibly tomorrow and doing his thing? I think that's gonna just elevate that whole team, elevate Lamar Jackson's stats, because for some reason Hollywood just likes to go ahead and drop. Hollywood Brown likes to drop. Not you, Hollywood. You're holding on to that shot, but Hollywood Brown likes to drop the ball. There's a couple of touchdown passes already.
Hey, Hollywood never drops the ball, baby. Let me tell you that right now.
Not Hollywood Titan, guys. Let's just be clear. Not Hollywood Titan. We're talking about Hollywood Brown right now.
He had last week. 2 touchdowns he dropped last week.
Here's the thing. One more drop tomorrow, I'm just going to call him by Marquise, because you can't keep on dropping the ball and be called Hollywood. Okay, you have to be you have to hold on to the ball and do some things, and especially when like you beat your the defender by more than like 3 to 5 yards, you got to hold on to the ball, especially if it touches both palms and all 10 fingers.
They had him catching soccer balls in practice.
Yeah, I saw that. It's rough. I will say, I think Bateman's, he might be out tomorrow. I think they're playing it safe with him. But once he comes back, it's wheels up for me. He was my wide receiver 1 for most of my process, and then the workout numbers. I mean, I didn't expect Jamar Chase to run what he ran and test how he tested, and so that put Jamar Chase ahead. But yeah, Rashad Bateman, wide receiver 2, and I'm excited to see him play. I know people have already anointed Jamar Chase into the Hall of Fame, but I think Bateman's gonna produce. And I know people will say like, well, how is he going to produce? He's on a run-first offense. He sure is, but Hollywood Brown also was producing until he dropped 3 balls last week. So
right, he's actually been producing decently this season.
Yeah.
My question is, Marquise Brown. That's talking about like the evolution of the NFL wide receiver, right? You always look at these big players in the red zone. Marquise Brown is targeted heavily in the red zone because he can separate. He gets that quick separation.
Yep.
And that's what I think a lot of, like you said, a lot of people are going to start looking for. It's that separation.
Yep.
Yeah, but you got to be able to hold on to the ball.
Right.
That's the important part.
Yeah, that sucks. But yeah, no, like he's actually a heavily targeted for a small guy. He's heavily targeted in the red zone.
Yeah, you're going to see the same thing with Rondale Moore. He's going to be a red zone type of guy too, I think.
Yep. I think he can hold on to the ball though.
Yeah, he sure can. I was a big Rondale Moore guy. He was actually, I had him as my wide receiver like 4 or 5 in the class, but he ended up being because I do projections every year for fantasy. He ended up being my 2021 wide receiver 2, and that was looking pretty decent until last week. Yeah. I hope he has a bounce back week.
Nice.
Yeah, last week was he just disappeared completely, but
yeah, he fumbled, and I think he lost some snaps because of it. Which sucks.
Yeah, he's in a good offense though. He's in a good offense out there in Arizona. So I think like moving forward for the year, he's gonna fare pretty well. Unfortunately, in all 13 leagues that I drafted, don't have any shares of Rondale Moore. So we'll see what happens next year.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think Christian Kirk's kind of capping him too. Because Kirk's actually having a really good season so far this year, so it's like that kind of shifted more down a little bit. But
Yeah,
I'm
and
I
Kirk's
was
gone after this year.
Yeah.
So
and then
Which
after
we
that,
know.
there's really nobody else.
Yeah.
It's his third year, right? It's Kirk's third year.
Fourth. This is
Fourth
his
year,
final
okay,
year
so-
of his
okay,
contract.
okay.
Yeah.
You don't think he'll resign? You think he'll go somewhere else as a free agent?
I think so. I think that's why they drafted Rondale. It's
Rondale,
kind of
okay.
it's like his replacement. Well, to be fair, I think he's probably Andy Isabella's replacement, but
Hmm.
I think they may have found something with AJ Green too. I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, he can't keep this up all season. He's washed." He hasn't been the last couple of weeks, man. Like last year, yes, I would have said the same thing, but I think he needed a
looks
change of
healthy.
scenery. Yeah, he looked good.
He looks
Listen,
healthy.
I'm with you on that. I just thought, even entering the season, I just thought that Green needed a change of scenery. Cincinnati just is not a well-ran organization. They do things backwards down there. So I don't blame him for wanting to leave or even quitting on the team and quitting on the organization. I mean, they don't have any history of treating their players great, especially like the superstar players. So I don't blame him. And I was all on him. I thought that even watching him back when he was at UGA, he was a great player. And I was like, yeah, he has at least 2 more great years in him.
Oh yeah, I think so too. And he had it was like a 35-yard catch downfield last week, and it was like, oh yeah, that's AJ Green right there. That's
Yep.
the guy we remember right there. It's like, all right, you add that to that offense. It's like, oof, put that on the other side of DeAndre Hopkins, and then throw more in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mean.
I'm hoping. I don't like Cliff Kingsbury. I don't think he's very good coach, and I think Kyler's bailing him out.
Yeah.
Which was my fear for Justin Fields. Luckily, Nagy's much worse than Kingsbury, so Nagy will get the hell out of there. Bring in Joe Brady. Need to see it.
That wouldn't be bad. All right, but you got to take off, right, Christian? Why don't you tell us what you got going on?
I do. A lot going on. So you can find my work. Like Jeff said, we do the Devy Primer every week for Fantasy Pros, but most of my stuff goes on The Cut FFB. So at The Cut FFB on Twitter or thecutffb.com. We've got loads of podcasts on there now. We kind of have a network of podcasts. My show is Mondays live at 10:30. We go live during the Monday Night Football game, so it gives you kind of some nice little background noise to watch instead of it sucks that the Manning thing has worked out so nicely, so now people actually want to listen to that. That's what sucks. But no, we go live at 10:30, but we have 3 other shows that go live. Wednesday is the Coach Approach with Coach Bruce on Twitter and Brett Pape. Just a phenomenal show. They talk through X's and O's and stuff. And then Thursdays, we have the College Football Cut with Adam Mack and Jared Terrell. That show, they talk everything college football. It's very similar to the Devy Royale. And then Friday, we have DFS Deep Dive, which is Vandygrad 92. His name's Brian. Maverick, Protagonist TV. He's a big Patriots guy, so you get a little bit of Patriots feedback on there as well. But and then also Lucas DePau. So those guys are all killing it over at The Cut. And I'd rather you guys listen to them than go read my work. So check all that stuff out. And yeah, I'm at C Williams NFL on Twitter. So you guys can follow me.
Well, we appreciate all you guys from the Devy Royale coming to join us. Anytime you want to talk Devy again, I could always use some pointers.
Sounds good.
Caddy's Cuts, I would love a link for that. Definitely.
Yeah, I'll shoot you that. I'll shoot you that when I get out of here. And also, thank you guys for having all of us on. It was great coming on here. We'd be happy to come back for sure.
I appreciate that.
Man.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Later.
Talk to you, man.
Later. So Davey Kelly says Jamar Chase dropped 3 passes in the preseason. He seems to be fine. I'm not worried about Hollywood.
I'm not overly worried about Hollywood, but if it continues and when Bateman comes back, he's going to start losing targets.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're not going to be as forgiving with that, and nor should they be, right? I mean, like again, it's not like he's diving for the ball or it's out of reach. I mean,
right, it's hitting him in the hands.
The balls, I mean, it's hitting him in the hands. He it's not like he's not creating separation with his defender. He is. You got to hold on to the ball. You got to hold on to the ball. And what's crazy is if you look at his career at Oklahoma, he never had that issue. He never had drop passes. So I don't know what's going on. I mean, and you can't really say it's like the big lights, right? I mean, he went to a Power Five school, played in some big games and stuff, and so that's not one of the things that he was known for coming out of college. So I don't know what the issue is. I really don't know what the issue is.
It could be something as simple as mental, man. Sometimes you get the yips.
It
just gets in your head, and it gets in your head, and you just, it's
For sure,
tough.
dude.
I remember playing baseball back in high school. All through 8th grade, I was a great baseball player. Played in the outfield, played second base, and then got to high school, went to try out for the team, and I got so nervous I could not throw the baseball around the horn. Like, strikeout, ball goes around the horn. I could not fucking throw it. I kept overthrowing. I was like, I'm getting cut. Instantly getting cut. Luckily, I made the team because I played good enough, and I didn't have it after that. But the whole tryout process as a freshman really fucked with my head. It was terrible.
Yeah. It could be that, but I hope not, because again, I mean, it's just like he's a great player. I know he puts in a lot of work. I mean, especially being related to Antonio Brown, AB.
Mm-hmm.
I know that he puts in the work, because AB puts in the work as well. So it's just one of those things. It may come down to being a mental issue, but I hope he's able to get that corrected sooner than later, because I do think that once Bateman comes on and he's doing his thing and proves to be his worth for that draft pick, that he is going to be losing some snaps and some targets.
Adding Bateman might actually relieve some of that pressure off of Marquise Brown. He doesn't have to be that guy. Maybe Bateman's going to be the guy who's going to be covered by the tough corners, by the big press corners, because they need him for Bateman. So Marquise Brown's going to have a little more room to run. So that might actually relieve some pressure from him. So could go either way with Bateman. It's either Bateman's going to be covered and it's all going to Hollywood Brown, or Bateman's just going to dominate.
Yeah. That's true. So let's see.
How you guys all feeling about the 49ers this week playing the Eagles? Well, what do you think? I got to hear. You placing any bet?
I like, come on, Joey. That's like saying,
I know. For
am
this
I drinking
game.
water? That's no. For this one, I do like it. I do like the spot that the 49ers are in. Coming up to a underwhelming game against Green Bay. I think they're going to be able to do more than enough to get that win. It's just, as the other guys touched on, Jalen Hurts just doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. He's good in fantasy, right? He's good in fantasy. He's good in daily fantasy. He's great to bet on as far as like player props, but as far as like putting all your eggs in that one basket in Jalen Hurts, he just doesn't have. I mean, just the accuracy.
Yeah, but that's what we're talking about is fantasy, though, man. I mean, he's rushing upside with what he's got. I mean, I've got him in a few leagues, and I'm not hating him. I'm not.
Yeah. No, he does have good rushing floor, but I don't know if they do move on from the GM this year, they get a new regime up in there, like they were saying. I could easily see them drafting a quarterback and at least making it a competition.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Making Jalen Hurts win that job.
Yeah,
but
man, Minshew. Listen, I'm all in on Minshew. I think that Minshew needs to be active, and they need to put him in there and see what he has. Because
I agree. I like Minshew. He wasn't bad.
He wasn't bad. He wasn't bad in Jacksonville. And then look at his last year when he played for Washington State. He was doing his thing. So I think that you got to put him. Listen, any quarterback in Jacksonville is pretty much doomed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that now if you put him with a good coach and you're gonna put him with a good OC, he's gonna thrive. So I would love to see, just for like one game, what Minshew could do in Philadelphia, and I think that's gonna create some controversy out there. So I would love to see it. Honestly, I would love to see it. I do have him stashed away, so I am saying this on a little selfish take as well, because I do have him stashed away in one of my fantasy leagues. So I'm hoping that he gets on the field sooner than later.
Listen, if Indy was smart, they would have traded for Minshew earlier in the year while they had Carson Wentz on the team, because Carson Wentz is made of glass.
Mm-hmm.
So
you
can put your eggs in your basket, watching Wentz go down, and then you're stuck with Eason and Brett Hundley. Nope. Go and grab yourself some Minshew mania.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't grab him, but again, it's just like in the Colts are not known to make some good decisions down there either. So
Yeah.
they're in the position that they're in.
So you watch Minshew play, right? He played in Jacksonville with a trash team,
Mhm.
and he made plays, man. He made guys look good. He actually moved the ball. He wasn't bad. I don't understand how come.
That's me every week. I make guys look good.
I don't understand how Minshew doesn't have a job. I really don't.
Oh, that is so far from the truth. You guys make
Hollywood,
me
you
look
do.
good. I take that back. You
No, you
guys
do.
make me look good. No bullshit.
Nah, man, it's all you, Hollywood. Man, how
That's all.
many are we in right now, Hollywood? I've seen you pick up and drop that bottle about 3 times.
Was it Peach Crown?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's enjoying
Damn
that.
it, Will, that's none of your damn business.
You know what? You're right. You're right. You're right. I should know better, Hollywood. I apologize. I should know better. Let me go ahead and mind my business. It's because I'm a little jealous. I just got some H2O over here, so I do need.
Well, you gotta stay hydrated, bro. You gotta stay hydrated.
Got to. I do apologize.
No apologies needed, brother. No apologies needed. Now,
Right.
if this
What are the games are you guys
I
looking
would
for
be
tomorrow?
busting Joey's balls if he'd asked us something like that. Oh yeah,
Oh, Hollywood, I love you.
I love you guys.
Oh shit! I got to see if I'm beating you yet. I got 3 touchdowns out of Kenneth Walker, so
Probably not, because I'm Hollywood, but whatever.
bro, I'm
just
undefeated
saying.
in that league.
You about to take that L?
Oh yeah.
You about to?
Oh no, I'm beating you.
Okay.
I'm putting a
It
hurting
ain't
on you.
over yet.
253 to 201.
Ooh.
Yeah, Kenneth
Damn.
Walker did me real well.
Frick Kenneth Walker, loser.
Who else? Oh yeah, Brees Hall, Kenneth Walker, Mekhi Polk. How about that? That was a pickup of the week.
Look at you
126
scraping
and
the
2
bottom of the
TDs.
barrel, you asshole.
Right. That's right.
Oh shit.
Loving it. Excellent. All right. Cool. Just had to see that real quick. Will, we got to get you in some leagues with us, man.
Man,
Yeah,
let me
Will.
know. Like I said, I'm all for it, man. I'm always open, man. Let me know. I would love to do that, man. I'm very competitive, as you guys know, so I would love to join some leagues.
I'd love to
with
do
you
a
guys.
C2C because you do C2C.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I would love to join some C2C and see how I fare. See how I fare against some of you guys, some of the experienced guys over here, man. So I would love to do it, man. So anytime you guys have an opening, man, I'd be more than happy to join, man. Let me know.
Yeah. All right, fellas. Well, I'm gonna have to go hit the hay too myself. I was up at 5:30 this morning, going to work. God, I hate working Saturday.
Getting up early sucks, dude.
Like I get up early, so I go take the dogs out, make coffee and everything. Bring my wife coffee. I'm that guy. Yep, I'm bringing my wife coffee.
I
in
don't
bed.
have dogs.
That's good, Joey.
I don't
That's
get
good,
up
man.
and I don't drink coffee.
I do
That's-
all.
that's
You don't
bullshit.
drink coffee? Oh, you are crazy,
Hell
my
no.
friend.
Coffee is
Yeah,
for
I got
freaking losers.
Well, see, I don't drink alcohol anymore, so I drink coffee.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough,
I gotta
Joey.
have my coffee in the morning. I gotta have my
I
coffee
do.
in the morning. So I'm with you, Joey. I'm with you
Seriously,
on that,
I
man.
cannot do coffee. They
Is
don't
it the
make
taste
enough
thing?
sugar. They don't make enough creamer for me to do coffee. I just can't do it.
You're
Yeah,
drinking
it's-
shit
I
coffee.
don't know what the craze, the buzz is around it. I can't do it.
It's definitely an acquired taste. It's definitely an acquired
It
taste.
is.
So it's just it's definitely an acquired taste. So
I got people on my timeline. They're like, "Oh, I'm getting my lattes. I'm getting my coffees. I'm getting this, that, and the other." And I'm like,
Hollywood's cracking a tall boy.
I'm straight cracking 25 ounces. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? You people are freaking crazy.
Oh shit.
But it's just for coffee. It's just not worth it because I have to have so much creamer, so much sugar.
That's not even coffee.
yeah, that's
I know, and
at that point,
I'd rather have hot chocolate. So
that's hilarious.
I'm just
That's
saying.
hilarious.
You just get the sugar high instead of the caffeine.
I just don't know what the coffee buzz is, dude. I just don't get it.
I actually enjoy the taste of coffee. But
Yeah, me too. And
You
I
would,
drink it
Joey.
black.
You would.
I drink it black, no sugar, no creamer, no milk or anything. I mean, sometimes I put some oat milk in there, but yeah, like that coffee. It's just like a routine thing. I like to drink some coffee.
I don't
I'll
even
do a
know
lot of
that I
green
can be
tea.
friends with Joey right now.
And
Joey
then,
with his coffee, Joey with his fancy looking hair, whatever, dude.
Listen, coffee doesn't make me fancy, bro.
It's a la carte. That's a la carte. That's a la carte. So
Now, if I'm drinking it like
yes.
this, pinky up.
Man. Oh gosh.
But
all right, guys. Well,
you.
listen. Got to put up some lineups together for DFS, some player props together. So some of my bets in for tomorrow. But guys, as always, I appreciate the invite. I always appreciate coming on with you guys.
Man.
Let's have a fun time. So appreciate it, and we're gonna definitely do it again soon.
Oh yeah, become a regular, Will. We love having you on, man.
Yeah,
appreciate
anytime,
you, boss.
brother.
Appreciate you, boss. Absolutely.
All right, so thank you again for joining us at the IDP Lounge. Yeah, Joey the Tooth IDP, Hollywood Titan, at Biased Opinions _ Will with 1 L. Wilmington?
Yes. There we go.
Will with
I remembered it.
There we go.
Frickin' Delaware.
Thanks,
Frickin' Delaware.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining us again. We'll see you guys next week.
Later, guys.